coaching the special teams that can do it. But here's what I forgot, Coach. I forgot penalties.
Yeah.
And whereas our numbers this year are lower, our situational awareness of these penalties, to me going forward, has got to change. What do we do to clean up just understanding down and distance, and this ain't the time for that?
Well, it goes back to you can depend on, and making sure that hey, listen, if a guy keeps doing the same thing over and over, then we got to take that into account and not put him in that situation. I mean, heck, I saw highlights of a game this weekend. Running back fumbled deep in his own territory, and the coach, I mean, he's starting running back. He didn't put him in for the rest of the game. You don't continue to let people, and I think our coaches do a great job of that. But like I say, it's a learning experience, it's a learning process, and like I say, you got to be aware as a player. You got to be aware as a coach. All right, this is a situation maybe this guy don't need to be in, or this is a situation, hey, I need to be extra careful right here. If we got a run play going to their sideline, we got to be better and make sure, because about the holding, we can't put ourselves, because their coach is going to be yelling holding, and that referee just been listening to them all night on the sideline, and they've been complaining to him, and of course they've been patting him on the back, making him feel, trying to butter him up, love him up a bit. They're going to get that holding call, if we give them a chance. So, there's just situations that we got to be more aware of, and we just got to understand that we can't put it in the referee's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you, a lot of people seem to think like the coaching staff feels they're bigger than God and they're perfect and it's all on the players. Talk about how hard coaches are on themselves, especially how hard you guys on yourselves when things don't go right.
Well, I tell you what, I guarantee that Saturday night after the game, all the coaches, got on their iPad, watched the game, self-evaluated what they're trying to do, and players play, coaches coach, and sometimes we get more on both sides. We get more credit than we deserve. We get more blame than we deserve, and if you worry about taking blame or anything, this probably isn't a sport for you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with social media out there, and a lot of coaches and players have, things are going good and everybody's patting you on the back on Twitter and telling you how great you are and posting your picture on Instagram and doing all this. Well, when things go bad, they're going to do the same thing. It's just going to be a different narrative. And you've got to understand that you got to have tunnel vision, and you got to quit worrying about, well, am I getting blamed, or they get, because it doesn't matter who's getting blamed. What matters is there's a problem and it needs to be fixed.
Mm.
And as a coach, you never go out and try to point the finger at anybody but yourself. And I think, but I think too, the news media ask you questions, and obviously our program has more inside access than most programs, so people hear a lot more. But I can assure you, the same narrative, the same things that's going on at our place, at our practices, goes on at other places. I tell you what, I went to University of Georgia, and I got a little red and black in me. But let me tell you right now, if you want to hear something, that go ride through Athens, Georgia, close to that practice facility. I guarantee you, they that microphone wide open, and you'll hear some things said that will burn your ears.
Yeah.
Hey, people that are not in football, that haven't coached it, haven't played it, they don't understand what goes on in a locker room, what goes on at practice, how way people, you don't have time to, always pat a guy on the back and say, hey, buddy, I need you to do this. But they don't see that, hey, I can get on to him at the game. I can get home at practice, because behind closed doors, because in the cafeteria, when I've seen him in the hallway, I've put my arm around him. I've asked about his family. I've developed that relationship. So these people that don't know that and don't see that, they don't understand how we can, communicate the way we can and be as blunt as we can. And they look at it different on the outside and on the inside.
Coach, one of the things you touched on that inside outside comparison there. This is one of the most open programs, in the nation and probably in history for that matter. I'm blessed and grateful for the opportunity to be one of those lenses to share with the world. But because we share so much, one of the byproducts of that, Coach, and this is just me speaking, y'all let me know how y'all feel. Because you show so much, people think when they don't see something, that means it's not taking place.
That's right.
And what they don't get to see is these grading film sessions with the players. And what they don't get to see is the coaches stand up there first and say what they messed up on.
Yeah.
And so the world thinks that somebody's just blaming players. Rob Livingston would get up every time and say, hey, here's the 2 things I failed at. I bet y'all don't do that again. Now I need you to not do this again. Let me show you what you did. It is full accountability. It's not just player. It's coaches. It's the head coach. It's the equipment staff. Coach Prime demands accountability from everybody. What did you do this game that you're going to improve on for next game and not do the same crap again? It goes for everybody.
But I tell you what, Rob does a great job of that. And I tell you what, our other coaches do as well. And I've even tried to make sure that because I get on them pretty hard for special teams about mistakes they make and things at practice. And I'm pretty blunt about it. I don't really try to sugarcoat it very much.
People don't know you, Coach Pollock. they would be amazed. They would be impressed, but they'd be amazed if they got to see when their face get red. And
well, at the same time, you can do that as long as you do take accountability for things you do. And I think I've tried to do a great job myself of sure when I make a mistake that I tell our guys, hey man, this was on me. I take this one. I'm gonna eat this one myself, but I need you to fix this in the future. Kids respect that. Anybody respects that. And I think it just makes you more human. And you can't always nobody calls a perfect game. Nobody makes a perfect decision on everything. It's easy for people to sit there and say after the fact what should have happened, and that's the thing about coaching is, if it works, then he was a genius. He was an aggressive play caller. Now, you call a reverse or a play action pass on 4th and 1 and you throw a touchdown or something like that, and you're a genius, man. What aggressive play calling. Well, you do the same thing and throw an incompletion and you're going to have everybody in the world. Why didn't you just hand the ball off and run? I mean, that's the benefit of being a fan and the benefit and the lack of benefit of being a coach and a player. We don't get to have do-overs. We don't get on, social media the next day and talk about, hey, this should have happened or that should have happened. Let me tell you something. If it don't work, I promise you, nobody's questioning themselves more than a coach.
Man.
Absolutely. And like I was saying, Coach, where you alluded to it, some of those things we can't show how it was supposed to go because it gives away the competitive advantage of what we're going to use to play in the future. So there's just, some folks don't give the benefit of the doubt that this style of coaching is taking place. Coach, we passed the top of the hour. We're going to let you run. Want to say again, thank you for taking the time out to come on the morning run. You're more than welcome anytime. Your coaching style is clearly working with your specialists. And let me give you this bit of encouragement. One thing your guys don't have, like the defense offense guys they don't have a next play. It's one and done. So the expectation of the standard has to be higher because you don't get a second down and third down. You got to do it right this one time.
That's it. Hey, Coach P, man, I just want to tell you appreciate it, man, because even with us asking questions today, you just been so open and letting us into your world because it really bothers me sometimes. I got buddies in the coaching profession where it's like where people really don't think that coaches really get on themselves. And I've seen you get on yourself. So right. I just wanted to I appreciate you for opening up, and thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. See y'all later.
Sir. That's Coach Michael Pollock, Special Teams Coordinator for your CU Buffs. Appreciate him hopping on the morning run. Tomorrow on the morning run live, we got the pressers. Coach Prime will face the